Hi everyone, it's ktslabs over here. Okay, so today we're going to talk about the Sophos RED. Yes, and what is RED? That's remote Ethernet device, and specifically we're talking today we're talking about the Sophos RED 15s. So the first Sophos RED 15s are outdated. They're being replaced by the Sophos RED 20s. The port, you have a single one port, and then you have 4 Ethernet port, a console port, and a USB port. The throughput for this RED device is 90 megabit per second. This is being replaced by the Sophos RED 20s, right? Okay, it's another RED 20 here. Let's have that one somewhere there. Okay, great. So the 15s are now being replaced by the 20s. So the 20 is Sophos Core, the 20 SD-RED, software defined, yeah, and then the port count that you have here, again, you have 4 Ethernet port, a single WAN port. Now this has an SFP, SFP plus port, and a USB 3.0 port. The RED 15 has a USB 2.0 port. It doesn't have an SFP port for higher throughput, for an uplink, just your, Ethernet 1 gigabit ports. It has a USB 3.0 port at the front and micro USB console port. I love that. I'm not so much fan of the RJ45 console port with the serial port. I'm not fan of that. And it also comes with a dual power, right? For redundancy. Like I said, 2 is 1, 1 is none. Redundancy. What is a Sophos RED? So a Sophos RED is if you have a remote branch, a satellite office, and you want to extend your LAN connectivities over there, you just send a RED to your remote site, and what it does is that it establishes a tunnel with your firewall, right, in your corporate office, right? So I deploy this at a corporate office, and then what I do is I just ship a RED 20 or RED 15. No longer, Sophos no longer making a RED 15 anymore, so we're replacing all the RED 15s with RED 20s. The 20s replace the 15s, and then the 60s, the RED 60, replace the RED 50s. Now, a quick spec sheet. So the 15 would do a throughput of 90 megabit per second. The 20 does 250 megabit per second, and then you have your RED 60s, that's your 850 megabit per second throughput. The 50s, the RED 50s, that is being replaced by the 60s. The 50s would do 360 megabit per second. So what it does is that once this is shipped to a remote site, because this is just a zero touch, the RED I'll configure the RED here on the HQ firewall, and at a remote site, all they have to do is plug in a WAN, and then what it will do is it will establish a connection to the Sophos orchestration cloud, and the firewall will also do the same. And what it does is, because it has a unique code, which we call it an unlock code. If the unlock code matches, it will establish a tunnel connection, through the orchestration cloud. And then after that is established, now the communication is now direct from the firewall to the RED device anywhere in the world, or any remote site. So it will extend the LAN edge, to the remote sites. Yeah, or we can just put that in a DMZ zone if you want to do that. You can easily do that. Yeah, so it does establish a tunnel connection, which is very, that's why it's called it really a zero touch, because I just ship this device to the remote site anywhere in the world. It doesn't matter. They don't have to do anything. All they have to do is just plug power in, plug it to the Ethernet, and that's it. Give it an Ethernet link, and that's all they have to do. Then the configuration is being done here on the firewall we're using an unlock code, and also a RED ID, which is basically the serial number, of the RED device, to establish a tunnel connection. Now, I think Sophos is the only one that does this, because all the vendors that I have worked with, FortiGate, for instance, FortiGate is not doing that. Cisco Firewall is not doing that. Sophos is the only one that I know is doing this, because I don't need a separate license for the RED devices. No, all I need is just a single license for the firewall. Even with the HA cluster, I just need a single license for an HA. You don't need two licenses for an HA, a single license, and whichever become the primary takes over the license, which is awesome. The RED devices don't need license. So long as the tunnel is established with a firewall, the LAN edge is being extended to the remote site with secure tunnel encryption. I mean, that is fantastic. It's very easy to deploy REDs all over. We have about 300 REDs on, being deployed for all for the sites, which is controlled by this guy here. Yeah. Kudos to Sophos for that. So you don't need any. So because all these RED devices here, there's quite a lot of them that we have all over the place. Don't need licenses for none of this. The LAN edge is being, extended to all this remote site, and then all the traffic comes into HQ, and then from there filtered out, exit the egress, the WAN link. And that is the deployment. So that is a standard unified communication between the RED devices and HQ. It can also be deployed in a standard split. So a standard split is only traffic that is destined to HQ will come into the firewall, and every other traffic will go, through the WAN to just exit the WAN, just like VPN configuration, split tunnel, or doing a unified communication. So you have the three modes that you can deploy a RED is standard unified, all traffic comes straight into the HQ and exit out, or standard split, only traffic destined to HQ will come through to the HQ, and every other traffic will go out to the internet. And then you have in a transparent mode deployment. Yeah. So that is it for Sophos RED. I'm really a fan of the Sophos RED. I really am. And yeah, the 20s they come with a module. You can just install 5G, a module in here, and then you have a SIM card in, or you can have wireless, whichever modules you want to put in here. Sophos have all of those, and you can put in there. That's what I love about the RED, because you don't have to get separate licenses for that. Because with your standard VPNs, if you want to deploy your remote sites or satellite offices, you need to get a smaller unit, and then you need license for that, and you need license for the HQ, and then establish your VPN tunnel, and you have your configuration going on. I think a lot of people these days talking about ZTNA, so that is another subject to talk about. All right, guys, that's all I have to talk about today. Again, don't forget to like and share, and also comment below, and follow me on my Tech Unboxing Crazy Tech Space channel, and don't forget to follow me on Instagram, and we can have a lot of conversation over there on those other platforms also. Thanks a lot for joining me today, and I will see y'all in another video. Charlie, me that say. I'm RED out.